Yeah. Good afternoon. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar. This afternoon, I will be talking in brief about the anthropogene influenced climate change, a cause for the loss of species diversity and shrinkage of biodiversity hotspots. In fact, both are very dangerous. Loss of species is really a concern, and loss of biodiversity is also going to be very highly concerned. So, for those who are not very familiar with the biodiversity, I have just put it in the opening slide itself. You can see the species diversity among the animals, about the ocean, then a lot of floral, and then this thing, bees and other things.
Sir, can
and
you
then,
go to slideshow, sir?
yeah, this is slide, no?
Yes, sir, it is there.
Yeah, it is, sir. Is it there? Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Slideshow. It is not coming as slideshow.
Okay. Now?
No, it is not.
No. Now, is it coming?
It's coming, but it is not changeable.
You may unshare and stop sharing and again share, sir. I think you have to first put it in slideshow.
Okay, right. Okay.
Above that presentation, you will have that share.
Yeah.
From there you can.
Now is it coming? Has it coming now?
No, I think not.
Oh.
Otherwise, you can go ahead, sir. Yeah, I think
Now is it coming? Okay.
it is not in slideshow, but it's. I think it is fine.
Yes, yes, sir. It's showing.
Yeah. It's showing. Okay.
Yes, sir, continue.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So this is just in brief about the biodiversity about which I am going to speak. You know very well there are three types of biodiversity. One is species biodiversity. Second is genetic biodiversity, as we find here. They're all dogs, but then they belong to different genetic biodiversity. Similarly, flowers also. And then we have another ecosystem biodiversity, which is very important. We'll be discussing briefly in this course of this presentation. Okay. Of course, biodiversity is defined like this. Convention of Biological Diversity, CBD 1992, is variability among living organisms from all sources, being terrestrial, marine, and other aquatic ecosystems and ecological complexes of which they are part. This includes diversity within the species, between the species, and of the ecosystem. You know very well that there are 4 spheres for the planet Earth, and all of them show very extremely diverse biodiversity. So that is what we are going to discuss about it. And then this biodiversity is getting disturbed. Not only disturbed, it is threatened by large extent by the human actions. That's what my title also says, anthropogene, that is human influenced, human genetically, human related influence climate change. Okay, so let's go this. And as you all know, the biodiversity is spatial and temporal. That is, it can be expressed in terms of space and time. Its study provides insight to changes in species, ecosystem functioning, and ecosystem services. Biodiversity can be used to describe species ecosystem, and Convention of Biological Diversity, CBD, defines definition incorporates ecosystem also. of which we are part of the ecosystem, and it is comparable to the biome in Wilson's definition. Biome is essentially a Wilson's definition. Everything, flora, fauna, and then the geography, everything put together, it forms a biome. An ecosystem also forms a biome. So, and threats to this biodiversity of the ecosystem and biomes are extinction of species and biodiversity loss. Ladies and gentlemen, you can feel that both are extremely bad for the human system, because extinction of species spells something very bad for us as a humans, and biodiversity loss also does not sound well for people like us, who have to necessarily coexist with the biome and by this ecosystem completely. So we have to take this very seriously and take whatever action as human beings we do to improve the ecosystem, and also the stop the climate change and warming has to be done. And both these are influenced by anthropogenic causes globally, more so in populous countries like India. Why? Because you see, India has an area of 2.4% of the global area, whereas we are supporting a population of 17.7% of the global population, almost 140 crores, 1.4 billion. Whereas the global area, the rest of the global area is about 97.6, 100 minus 2.4, and the other rest of the population lives in this 97.6% of the global area. So India has all the more the reason to worry about the extinction of species and biodiversity loss because of this gross imbalance in the area and population growth. Okay, so
Sir, slides are not moving, sir.
pardon?
Your slides are not moving. It is still in the first.
Okay. So shall I take a minute? Just I will put it off and is it moving now?
No slide has been seen.
Okay. Okay.
No slide.
No, sir.
No, is it not coming now?
You shouldn't to share the slide.
Now we are in the biodiversity hotspots. Okay. Now,
No, sir. It is not visible.
it is not sharing.
No, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what to do now? So shall I go ahead with, is this now biodiversity hotspot? Can you see?
No.
Share your slides once again, sir.
Yeah, I will do that. I'm doing it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is about the biodiversity hotspots. Having spoken about biodiversity, now let us briefly discuss about biodiversity hotspots are also areas with significant levels of biodiversity that face threat from various sources, including humans, or biodiversity hotspots. Lithosphere and hydrosphere are the large reservoirs of biodiversity, but several species or living organisms in these regions are threatened with the destruction and the extinction. Study of the hotspots is important due to the threats faced by the plant and animal species. That's the reason we are studying the hotspots. And ladies and gentlemen, biodiversity hotspots refer to about just 25 biologically rich areas in the world, not in India, in the world, that have lost approximately 70% of the original natural habitat. Can you imagine 70% is already lost? But whatever is remaining, now we have the remaining number is 34. In fact, originally it was 34. Now it is only 25. So even the hotspots have also shrunk. This is not a good news for the humanity. We have to do something very drastically to keep the hotspots safe. Otherwise, all the remaining plants and flora and fauna, they will become threatened, rare, and even extinct. So it is a really alarming situation. And the remaining habitat of those regions is just 2.3%. Just imagine 70% of this are occupying only 2.3% of the land area of the earth. Yet it supports 60%. Earlier it used to be 60%. Now it is only 70%. Now it is only 60%. Only plant, birds, mammal, reptile, and amphibian species. Ladies and gentlemen, these are all extremely important. As you know, I don't have to insist on this, but you can imagine plants, birds, mammal, reptile, and amphibian, how important these are. They are the ones which keep the ecosystem clean, absolutely. So if they are lost, even from this 2.3% of the land surface, I think it is not going to be a good news to all of us. So excessive anthropogenic influence triggers reduction in the area of the hotspots. That is what is the studies all over the globe. It is excessive anthropogenic influence, human influence. And these activities lead to species reduction and hotspot shrinkage. And these two are definitely not good news to both the global population. And these are the what you call published information. You can see the human imprint in biodiversity hotspots. This is, yeah, this is published in it's this one, and there is volume number 6, Frontiers in Ecology and Environment, the Ecological Society of America, ESA. So this is a very important publication. You can see this volume 16 and issue 8. They are discussing about all these things. Okay. Yeah, this is the, you can, this is the, has the slide changed? Can you see the map? Ladies and gentlemen, can you see the map? Map of the 34 biodiversity hotspots?
No, sir.
No.
No?
You choose the next slide, sir. Within 5 slides. Yes, sir. Now it is.
Yeah. It has come? Yeah. So these are the, all the red ones are the hotspots. This is February 2005 publication, predicting plant diversity patterns in Madagascar. I mean, this is taken from there. You can see why even the existing, you see, this is Sri Lanka. This is a hotspot. There's a hotspot here. You can see how in a bad condition the elephants are living now, and that's the reason I said even the existing hotspots are under danger. And not only in India, it is not only in India and Sri Lanka, it is again in United States and Canada, everywhere. It is the same, because we have encroached the the area that belong to the wildlife and the plants and the flora, fauna, and all that. Okay, so this map shows the 34 biodiversity hotspots. Now it is 2005. Now it is reduced to 25 biodiversity also. And this area has reduced to 1.7. This is definitely not a good sign for the Earth, planet Earth. Okay. Has the change? Has it changed? Has the health of biodiversity? Can you see? Has the slide changed?
No, sir. Yeah.
I think there is a gap in time actually.
Okay.
So what happens? You see, the health of biodiversity and hotspots is a function of warming and climate change, which in turn is a function of enhanced greenhouse effect and gas emissions. And ultimately, this itself is a function of anthropogenic influence. Once anthropogenic influence is there, we emit a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere that leads to warming and climate change, and then it leads to health of biodiversity. Everything goes for a toss completely. So this is a process of anthropogenic influence climate change. You can see so we are all keeping ourselves very cool by the lot of air conditioners, but then we don't realize that carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, hydrofluorocarbon, HCFC, volatile organic compounds, and oxides of nitrogen, sulfur are the emissions into the atmosphere from all these sources. Even the cattle, they leave out a lot of methane into the atmosphere. Even the fields. Okay, so this is the way the Earth has reduced now. And as a result, ladies and gentlemen, you have the huge ice sheets coming out of the main ice sheets in the polar areas like Antarctica. This is from Antarctica. You can see from main sheet, it has traveled, it has got dislocated from such a far off area, and it has come here. And here also it is not safe. It is coming into the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean also, and then they get transported. And as a result, you are getting extreme weather conditions. There's the Kosi River, and you can say 54% of India is facing extremely high water stress because of this influence, human influence. And you can see the thermal imagery of entire North India. This is last year's image, 2021. You can see the extreme weather condition, major parts of India, North India, that Indo-Gangetic plain, they were undergoing a lot of heat wave. So it leads to all this type of undesired things like global increase of about 0.4 degrees centigrade per decade. It leads to El Nino. They lead to droughts, like water shortage and failure of agriculture. You can see for a country like India, if so far by God's grace, it has not happened. But then sometime or other, we are expecting that there may be some issues of failure of agriculture in pockets of all over India. So before that, we have to wake up, and then we have to take some corrective measures. Then bushfires, shrinkage of glaciers, breakage of continental ice in polar regions, then flash floods due to heavy rains, atmospheric disturbances, and extreme weather conditions like this. It is also extreme weather condition. Okay. Now, has the slide changed?
No, sir. 7.
No. Yeah.
7th slide.
So that is United Nations Siberian cranes, the title. Okay. You can see in the year 2000, summer of 2020, 2 years back, when we were all locked up in the lockdown, this is what had happened. 350 elephants died in Okavango Delta in Botswana, and it is mainly anthropogenic cause. Later on, it was identified as the anthropogenic cause. That is because of the bacterial infection. These things should not happen in a civilized world. I won't say India and all. It's a civilized world. It should not happen. Then penguins face the biome change. Absolutely, they are also helpless. Absolutely, because all the ice sheets have melted. Their habitats are on the ice sheets now. Since the ice sheets in Antarctica has completely, no, in large extent, they have completely melted. They are totally helpless now. They are living on the rocks. Absolutely. Then there are indications that United Nations has already described that Siberian cranes are at the verge of extinction due to enhanced greenhouse gases in atmosphere. Now they may be one of the last batches of Siberian cranes coming to India, like Bharatpur and other places. But then I don't know how far they are going to last. So they may become a history of the past. So again, in the anthropogenic, that in 17 million minks were culled in 2020.
Hello,
Yeah.
Hari sir.
Yeah.
Can we go a little faster? We have two more speakers. Just
Pardon?
a little faster.
No, I can't follow you. What is that?
Can we do the slides a little faster, sir?
Yeah. Sure, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So these are the Amazon rainforests have caught fire, and you can see the conditions of all these things. These are all extreme weather conditions, and you can why it is all happening is the
Sir, you're on. Sir, Hari sir, you're on mute. Unmute, sir.
Sir, unmute your mic.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, 1 second.
I think you can unshare first. I think stop sharing, then you can.
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible?
Now audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is the floodplain zoning of Central Water Committee (CWC). This B, C are national and state wildlife forests and all that. They are prohibitive. A is prohibitive zone, restrictive zone. This B zone is a restrictive zone, and C zone. C is warning zone. You can see in Chennai flood what happened. Completely, a stream has been completely. It is in the almost in the B, that is restrictive zone. They have constructed houses in all these places. So where will the flora and fauna go? Same way, Kaziranga National Park was extending to this much, and then there was some Nambo Wildlife Sanctuary. They used to exist in the year 70s and 80s. But today, Kaziranga National Park is restricted to only this place. It's very unfortunate. So why I'm saying all these things is now they have been, most of this area have been converted into agricultural field, and then many of the have human habitats. You can see, excepting national park, everything other thing is there. School, and plantation, everything, church, everything is there. So this does not spell good for the biodiversity. That is all I wanted to say. Okay. So now the Kaziranga National Park has the slide changed to a map. Kaziranga National Park in Assam is restricted only to this much. That's all. So you can see how much of human habitats have come in and around. So as a result, what is happening is they're all coming onto the roads completely. They are in a very pathetic shape. Whenever there is a flood, they come onto the road, and this is the way they are living now. Okay. We have fenced the Kaziranga National Park. See, they have come onto the roads completely. This is 2020, May 2020, same Kaziranga, Assam. This is the stress on Kaziranga wildlife during 2020 floods. So why I'm showing is this is a stress we have created, the humans anthropogenically created stress on the wildlife and both flora and fauna. Okay, the main anthropogenic reasons for stress on the biodiversity and hotspot is alterations in land use and land cover in all the continents. All continents, ladies and gentlemen, please remember. It is not only for India, it is all continents in favor of agriculture, urban and rural development, landfills like this, industries including power stations, economic and special economic zones, SEs and corridors, geotechnical projects like dams, bundled water bodies to tackle slope stability issues. It results in huge landslides. Mining, of course, mining definitely gives a lot of GDP. So you cannot exactly say mining is the main cause, but then it contributes a little. Then finally, the entertainment. We construct a lot of luxury resorts, playgrounds, so on and so forth, in place where we are not supposed to construct, where those areas are meant only for the biodiversity, like flora and fauna. A disappearance of water bodies and marshes. You can see marshes are under stress. Widespread carnivorous habit of the humans. This is also a very big concern now. Depriving the feed animals to the wildlife. Creation of and spread of pathogens like bacteria, virus, which are harmful to the animal life. Like we have seen, the minks were completely culled in the Netherlands. Okay. So this comes in the way of like acid rains and destroys the forest. Marshes become toxic. The eutrophication kills the water bodies. Terrestrial water bodies unsuitable for aquatic life and breeding place for the pathogenic organisms. So these are the anthropogenic. These are shown for the anthropogenic. So as a result, we are having this also. Biodiversity in the marine ecosystem is also equally affected because of the oil spill. You can see a tanker full of crude oil. It got it completely, offloaded in the mid of the ocean, and huge oil spill happened. And because of that, you can see the marine biodiversity getting affected, victims of oil spill. Okay. So what is the solution? Now, these are the problems I have described, but what are the solution? Solution is to preserve the species and restore the biodiversity hotspot is implement COP21 or December 2015 meeting and Paris Agreement decisions in letter and spirit. for keeping the temperature below 2 degrees above the pre-industrial area level and limiting the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees centigrade. So if this is implemented in letter and spirit, this Paris Agreement decisions, I think our major now COP21, it happened in 2015, COP27, of course, is happening now. Nothing has been done, very well has been done, but if it is implemented in letter and spirit, most of these things will not happen. The biodiversity may improve. Then arrest emissions into atmosphere by preventing warming and delay of the climate change. Invest in carbon sequestration technologies, process of removing carbon from atmosphere and depositing in the reservoirs. It can be done in many ways. Carbon sequestration is the order of the day. Everyone has to, whether we like it or not, everyone has to invest in these carbon sequestration technologies. Enhance forest cover, dense greenery, support proliferation of indigenous flora. Indigenous flora. I am underscoring this, indigenous flora, because they are the ones which are the biodiversity of the particular biome. So if we take care of the indigenous flora, that we are taking care of the biodiversity to a large extent. Then preserve the biodiversity hotspots and species, arrest species mutation and endemic viruses. That's also very important. Cut down the personal carbon footprint. That's very important. Wherever possible, you try to use the minimum things what is available to you. Thereby, you can reduce the carbon footprint. Preserve the floral and faunal species in all biomes and ecosystems. Protect the soil, rivers, and natural water bodies. Lead a lifestyle that produces minimum or no solid waste. Of course, it is easier said than done, but then we can always give a try. Definitely, we can. We will be able to do if we are able to lead a lifestyle that produces minimum solid waste. Definitely, things will be definitely better. So with this note, I take leave. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.